Shane here with Shanty Acres Knives and EDC. Welcome back to the channel. I thought I'd take you out to the shop today and show you what we're going to get started on our first project since the weather's broke. We're going to go to the grinder table and do some actual custom work on the grinder. Nothing fancy here. A couple of sanders that are probably most likely were purchased at Harbor Freight. They're inexpensive, entry-level tools. I was blessed to be given both of these by my uncle, who had done a little bit of knife work, and he had done some rehandling and grinding and making some sheaths and stuff, and then he must have lost interest and got interested in something else, and he was interested in my hobby of rehandling knives and doing this kind of work, so he graciously gave these to me, and so I'm very thankful to have them. And that just about does it for most of the rough work. The grinder's taking care of that, and I've got a handful of different sandpaper here. Some will use dry, some will be wet sanding, and it'll basically just be taking this knife and taking it down to a much finer finish and making sure it still fits the hand just like I wanted it to, and this knife will be done. Can you see those dark places right there on the back spine of the blade? That's sanding dust. So I'm going to keep sanding the back spine down, the scales of the back spine down, until that sanding dust doesn't settle in a almost unnoticeable groove there, but it just will make the fit and finish so much better. You see now, those shadows are gone. There's no place for the dust to rest. We'll just drop to a finer sandpaper and a finer sandpaper all the way down to 400, maybe 600, maybe 800. When we get into the 600 and 800, we'll be wet sand. And now we'll put some final touches on it, on the buffer. We'll use the brown compound. This is not a high dollar compound. I've not really developed a science on my compounds yet. This is just a Harbor Freight compound, and it'll put a nice polished finish on the Blk Canvas micarta scales. That pretty much does it for the sanding and the buffing. Got those nice pretty liners in there. I used a black liner against the stainless steel and then a blue one so the blue would stand out even more. Stainless steel pins. Blk Canvas micarta. I learned something on this one. I did not sand it quite as much as I sand most of the handles that I've done so far, because the Blk Canvas micarta, and I can prove this on a Bravo 1 that I have from Bark River Knives in Escanaba, Michigan. When you get this wet, if it's raining, you're field dressing an animal, or you get blood on your hands, this Blk Canvas micarta, if it's left a little bit coarse, it will actually get tacky. So it's not as slick in your hand if it gets wet. But in doing that, it's kind of hard to see. It looks more gray in the camera, but it took a little bit of the color of the brown or reddish brown polishing compound. And I think with this era knife being from, it's a new blank with new handle, kind of a modern twist on the material. They were usually wood, but this is a Frontier era knife. And so back in the fur trading days, the times when that was a big thing in America, and they would, a lot of times trappers would trade these to Indians for, and this and other styles. A lot of times trappers would trade this style of knife and several other style knives for furs and things like that. So the Russell Green River Works, made in USA, 4215 pattern, with my own patina done with mustard and a drinking straw. Got that patina on there, and it just really a nice, that choil works good, gives you a place to protect your hand from the blade, feels really good in the hand. So that closes out our video on a modern addition to a time-honored blade. Thank you for sticking around on the channel, watching the video. I enjoyed having you, enjoyed doing the knife for others to enjoy and to see, and see what my process is. We've got more to come in the future.